Hey guys, it's Lauren, and welcome to my So You Want to Tier in an N-Stars event guide. Before I start, again, I will not be explaining the basics of the event, and I will not be explaining how to download this onto your iPhone, your Apple device, your Android device, your smartphone, your computer, whatever you use. I'm not going to explain it. Links in the description down below for links that are for tutorials that I used, and as well as Google exists for a reason. A third thing I will not explain is how to buy diamonds, because I will be talking about that, but I will not be explaining how. So again, please Google it. So let's go ahead and get started. So you want to tier in an event in N-Stars. Well, basically, tiering in events is two parts. It is part hard work and part how much money you're willing to spend to get the cards you want. The card or cards. And money could mean how many diamonds, or money could mean legitimate money, because how far you want to get in an event is really legitimately how much money you are willing to spend. So first of all, let's get into the ranking system. So as of this event, the cutoffs have been extending. The cutoffs for this event are, let's see, all the way down here. Okay, there we go, finally. You only get producer points for 250,000 to about 180,000. You get various copies, or a number of copies, of the 3-star points from 180,000 all the way up to about 30,000. 30,000 to 9,000, you get a copy of the 4-star or multiple copies of the 4-star, along with multiple copies of the 3-star. Up into 9,000, and 9,000 and above, you get a copy of the 5-star or a number of copies of the 5-star, a number of copies of the 4-star, and 5 copies of the 3-star. So, basically, you're gonna want to be in one of these tiers, probably 30,000 and above if you are doing the event correctly. So basically, you're probably wondering, how many points do I need? Well, how many points you need is dependent upon who the ranking cards are. If the ranking cards are anyone from Knights, it is going to be hell on earth. If the cards are anyone from, like, Mao or Hoto from Trickstar, or Chiaki and Midori from Yusei Tai, or Rei and Koga from Undead, or anyone from Akatsuki or Valkyrie, it's gonna be hell on earth. Basically, hell on earth is reserved for Knights events because they are, oh my god, terrifying. But again, Mao events are also super terrifying, coming from experience. Hokuto is apparently really hard to tier for as well, along with Chiaki and Midori. Midori right now is ranking, so I think the cutoff right now is above 2 million points, and the event's, like, not even done yet. So that's gonna keep going up. Rei and Koga from Undead are probably the third hardest to tier for. And then Akatsuki and Valkyrie. Valkyrie hasn't had a lot of events where there are ranking rewards. So I'm assuming that Valkyrie is gonna be pretty hard as well. Akatsuki is pretty popular. But if your favorite is anyone from Rabbids or Fine, or Fine, I say Fine, whatever. Anyone from Rabbids or Fine, they are easier to tier for, except if your favorite is Nazuna. I am so sorry if your favorite is Nazuna. But anyone else from Rabbids is relatively easy to tier for, apparently. So, but again, if you have weaker teams, it's gonna be difficult either way. So, some tips and tricks for everyone. I probably should have stated this before, but this is going to be a mainly talking guide, not a lot of visuals, because I don't have a lot of editing skills. So hopefully you like talking. A link in the description will be down below for the outline that I created if you want to read it instead of listen, or listen and read, but you know, whatever. All right, so some tips and tricks for everyone. Use your rank ups strategically. So your LP and your AP restore every time you rank up. So once you rank up, and if you have like 2 LP and you're like 99% completed with your live, or with your rank, use those 2 LP on a live, then put the live on hold as I've done here. Wait or rank up, and then use the rest of your LP to beat that live. And then you can use Yaki Soba Bread to do so. So the Yaki Soba Bread completely restores your AP, which you can use to basically grind. And the highest course, or the course, that will give you the most experience is this course right here, the 3B course, unless it is Sunday. On Sunday, it will be the fine course in the gem sort of daily event thing. It will be on Sundays or Saturdays technically for me, because it's always Saturdays 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. the next day, so 10 a.m. Sunday. They give you 800 experience points. This course right here gets you 600 experience points. So grinding on those 2 courses will get you to rank up a lot more quickly, especially if you have a lot of Yaki Soba Bread. Another tip is to form your teams with unit skills in mind. So there's a link in the description down below for a list of all the unit skills that you could have, but form your teams with unit skills. So off the top of my head, I know that Izumi, Makoto, and Arashi together in one team, with one of them having to be the center, it will boost my, I think it's dance, I'm not quite sure, but it boosts one of my skills, one of my attributes, because those 3 were former models, and that is a unit skill technically. So there are a ton of different combinations, like the light music club is Hinata, Yuta, Koga, and Rei. They're also the event gacha cards, so they will also give you another boost. But form your teams with these unit skills. The optimize button does not form your team with a unit skill, so you can customize your teams for that skill. Also, another tip is it's pretty damn impossible not to use diamonds on emergency lives. So once your rare lives are maxed at level 30, and ideally you're beating them with 3 LP. If you're beating them with 2 and 1 LP, like, good on you. I am so proud of you. But ideally, you're beating them with 3 LP. Once you use that 3 LP, assuming that your LP had been 5, you now have 2 LP left to beat the emergency live. And if the emergency live happens to be anything above like a level 10, it's gonna be more than 500,000. And if you are beating max lives with 3 LP, your team is about 500,000 already. And because the emergency live is only 10 minutes, you can't wait for your LP to restore to beat that emergency live. So you either have to use the konpeito, the candies, to restore 1 LP, the sports drinks, or you have to use diamonds. So keep that in mind. Use the rank up method that I talked about. Try to always stay close to ranking up to restore your LP super quickly so you don't have to waste that emergency live. Another strategy is to save all the items like your candies, sports drinks, Yaki Soba Bread for a future event by not collecting them until the last day of the event. So I haven't collected 4 of my Yaki Soba Breads because I haven't needed them. I'm going to keep them in this rewards box until this event is over. Once the event is over, I can collect them. They will go in my present box and they will last 30 days before they expire. I can use that for future events. I can use that whenever, basically, as long as I collect them within 30 days and I use them before they expire. I can basically use them. I'm basically extending their life because if I collect them right now, they will expire the day after the event ends. But if the event ends and I collect them to my present box, they will stay there for 30 days. So yeah, another tip is when waiting for your LP to fill up, grind in the daily gem courses. The daily gem courses are lifesavers because they help boost your team's stats by furthering their idle road. And for me, I really need medium-sized gems. So, grind in here, build a gem grinding team where all of the card skills are basically medium jewel drop skills, or large jewel drop, or if you need small jewel drops. Just make sure that you're grinding in these daily gem courses. Also, my last tip is to beware the rush. And the rush is hell. It's the last 2-ish hours of the event where everyone rushes to gain points. And by that I mean they just spam the event lives and gain as many points as possible within those 2 hours to stay in their rank or to go above their rank. So my tip is to wake up at least 2 hours before the event ends to secure your ranking. If you're happy with where you are, like if you are in the top probably 5,000, I would say you're okay. If you want to stay there in the top 9,000. If you're 8,000, you gotta go, because people are vying for your spot. People are gonna try to kick you out of that rank. And the rush could drop you down at least 1,000 places if you're not careful. So if you are in rank 7,000, you could possibly lose the 5-star ranking if you're not careful and not grind like everyone else is. So make sure you're okay with where you end up and wake up at least 2 hours early to secure your spot. All right, now I'm going to be getting into different kinds of tiering. So if you are tiering and you are free to play, you want to save all your diamonds for gachas, or you want to save all your diamonds for events, but you are not willing to spend money. Here's the thing. You are not going to get the 5-star ranking. I am so sorry to break it to you, but you're not going to. There's like no possible way you are going to get the 5-star ranking, because the amount of gems that you have to spend is immense. And especially if you're free to play, you probably have a weaker team because you haven't scouted as much, because you haven't spent money. And it sucks because it's like kind of a roundabout catch-22 system where you want to do better and use all your diamonds by scouting so you have stronger teams, but you have to spend a lot of diamonds with your stronger team to do better in the event. Like, it sucks a lot, and I'm sorry if you're free to play and you want to do well in events, but it's probably not going to happen. You're not going to get the 5-star. I'm breaking it to you right now. But all hope is not lost for you. If your teams are weak and you still want to tier for the 4-star, it's still not looking good for you, but you can still get the points 4-star. However, you are going to need to sacrifice 2 things: time and sleep. So if you're trying to go for the points 4-star and you have a weak team, ideally it's probably about 200,000 you're going to want to stay in your team strength, about 200,000 in order to be at least effective. You're going to want to set alarms for when your LP refills every 2.5 hours, or less than 2.5 hours, so you give yourself some overlay for the 5th LP to fill up. So you're going to lose a lot of sleep getting up every 2.5 hours if you really want that 4-star. You're going to have to max level and unlock the event 3 stars gained from event rewards and drops. They're super powerful and will really help your teams. Really just max leveling and max unlocking the idle roads and all of your 3 stars that you have. All of the cards that you have in every single team, just max them. That's a pretty safe bet of what you need to do. But yeah, if you really want that points 4-star and you have a really weak team, you're gonna have to dedicate the next 10 days of your life to this event to make sure you get that 4-star. And if you're lucky, it will drop in an emergency live, which is really good. Then you don't have to play for it anymore. But if your teams are strong and you want that 4-star, you can afford to sleep at night. But you just gotta make sure you have to pay attention to it during the day. You can't just not pay attention to it and play super casually. You can use sports drinks for emergency lives and wait for refill for rare lives. Just make sure you're using all the items that you gain effectively and you're not wasting anything. And also make sure to check where you're ranking up, like where you are going to rank up. Because you don't want to use a sports drink and then realize, oh crap, after this event course, I'm going to rank up and then pretty much waste my sports drink on that. So just pay attention to that. So now that's free to play. Now we're going to be talking about ranking for the 4-star. So you want to rank for the 4-star, which right now is about 30,000. You have to be in the top 30,000. And you have a weak team, you're going to have to buy a little bit of diamonds. Like, at least a little bit. You're probably going to have to buy diamonds. But it also depends on who you're trying to tier for. Again, Knights, Mao and Hokuto, Chiaki and Midori, and then Rei and Koga, Akatsuki and Valkyrie are pretty hard to tier for. But if you're tiering for anyone from Fine or anyone from Rabbids, I think you might be okay. Again, Fine and Rabbids are easier except for Nazuna. But for everyone else, you're probably going to want to buy diamonds. You are also going to want to set alarms for every 2 hours and 20 minutes-ish, so you have time for your 5th LP to fill up. There's pretty much no way around it. The next 10 days are going to revolve around. Only use the candies and sports drinks for the emergency lives, and then use diamonds after that for the rare lives. But if you want to rank for the 4-star and you have a strong team, it depends on how many diamonds you have, but you may also want to buy diamonds. Since your team is strong, you can save your Konpeito and sports drinks for the emergency lives only, and then switch to diamonds after that. And you can probably also afford to sleep at night. As long as you don't slack off while you're awake, you should be fine. Because right now, I am at rank about 50,000, and that's with not really playing faithfully to this event. I also haven't spent that many diamonds on this event, and I still have already gotten the points 4-star, as well as I'm almost in the points, or the event ranking 4-star. But again, just a tip, I probably should say this right now. In general, the ranking 4-star cutoff is over 1 million points. So if you want to rank for the 4-star, you're probably going to want to get over 1 million points. Right now, that's probably not the cards for me, but anyway. Now, if you're ranking for the 4-star and you have a strong team. Oh god. I've been talking for too long. I've already talked about that. But, alright. Now, we are going to be talking about ranking for the 5-star. Here's the thing. I'm going to say it right now because there is no way around this. Especially if it's a Knights event, you are going to have to buy diamonds. Like, there is no way around it. You are going to have to. You have to buy diamonds. Because it requires an insane amount of diamonds to tier for Knights and to tier for Mao. So I will show you where the diamond shop is because I have frequented this many times. But the diamond shop is this shop right here. Go ahead and hit the 20. And that is what it looks like for me. You can buy them in sets of 5, 25, 50, 125, 250, and 360. Depending on who you are tiering for, I usually stick to the 360. You may also want 720 for Knights events because holy hell, especially if you have a weak team, you are going to want to buy a lot of diamonds. Let's see. I won't be explaining how to buy diamonds because that's not my style. Another tip is to scout in the event gacha. The event gacha will have the event cards that boost your team's strength. Especially if you have a weak team, it's definitely worth it to scout in the event gacha if you are trying to tier for the 5-star. But if you have a strong team, you should only scout if you like the cards, because if you have a strong team already, you probably don't need that much of a boost in order to tier effectively. So I basically have two strategies that I've heard of. Strategy number one is to save every LP restore, or save every candy, save every yakisoba bread, save every water bottle, and use diamonds until the rush, and use every LP restore until like the event is over. Basically from 2 hours before the event, or before the event ends, to when the event ends. I don't personally like that method because it's not guaranteed you'll end up where you want to be, especially if you want more than one copy of the 5-star. But that's just me. My strategy that I use is to rush to max every rare live the first day. I think it starts at 2 a.m. my time, or 1 a.m. is when the event starts. I rush to max every single rare live and the emergency live if I can on the first day. I switch to, or I use diamonds for every LP refresh on the first day, saving my LP refreshes, like my candy, my sports drinks, my yakisoba bread for AP. And then after the first day, I switch to using LP refreshes just for emergency lives, and natural refreshes and diamonds for rare lives for the rest of the event. I do spend quite a bit of diamonds when I can on the rare lives, especially if you run out of sports drinks, which you probably will if you are doing this right within the first couple days of the event, and you're just gonna want to just spam the diamonds like on the rare lives and emergency lives. Skip the normal lives, they don't matter. But yes, so if you have a strong team, for strategy number 2, you can afford to sleep at night. You don't have to set alarms during the day, as long as you are willing to haul ass during the day and are willing to spend a little bit more diamonds. Strategy number 3 is lots of question marks, because there are a lot of strategies for tiering for the 5-star, and the strategies vary depending on how many copies of the 5-star that you want. So there's really no correct way to tier for a 5-star besides just a massive amount of diamonds spent on rare and emergency lives. So basically, one of the last things I'm going to address is diamond spending. How many diamonds can I expect to spend? So for the 4-star ranking, if you want to rank for the 4-star 30,000 and above, it really depends how many diamonds you need to spend. If you set alarms for the whole event to maximize your LP, if you take into account rank up refreshes, and if you know how strong your team is and how many copies of the 4-star you want, and it depends who you're cheering for, you could probably expect to spend about 200 to 450 diamonds. The 200 being the minimum for less busy events, 450 to 500 probably for Knights and Mao. That is what you should expect to spend. So if you are ranking for the 5-star, how many diamonds should I expect to spend? Well, if you set alarms for the whole event to maximize your LP, if you take into account rank up refreshes, it depends how strong your team is, how many copies of the 5-star you want, and who you're tiering for, it could be anywhere from 400 diamonds and up. Like, 400 diamonds is probably the bare minimum you need in order to get the 5-star if your teams are relatively weak and you're not tiering in a hellishly popular event like Knights or Ryuseitai. And it sucks, but that's what you gotta do in order to tier for this. I probably spent, for the Mao and Ritsu event, oh god, I don't even remember. It was probably around 700 diamonds to get, I think I got three copies of the 5-star. I believe I was rank 3,111. which is right in here. So I got 3 copies of the 5-star, 4 of the 4-star, and 5 of the 3-star. So that was that. But yeah, so you might be thinking, how far can I get if I don't want to spend diamonds on this event? If you're free to play and you don't want to, or if you're not free to play but you don't want to spend diamonds, how far can you get on this event? Well, if you play casually and aren't really worried about getting up at night to use restored LP, or just casually playing it, you probably won't get the 4-star, the points 4-star, but you will end up around probably up to 200,000 points, which will get you all of the diamonds, stories, not all of the diamonds, but the stories, some of the 3 stars, more diamonds, producer points, sports drinks, yakisoba bread, medium jewels, backgrounds, more 3 stars, probably around here. Probably about your second background, if they have a second background that event. Probably up into the background. So it's still a fair amount of diamonds, still a fair amount of rewards that you get, but you probably won't get the points 4-star without spending a little bit of diamonds or revolving your whole life around this event. If you are extremely lucky, the 4-star may drop for you after you beat the emergency live, which is really lucky. I would really envy you if you did. But in general, you probably get around 200,000. So, in general, let's go over here. In general, the 4-star cutoffs are usually around 1 million, if not above 1 million. I believe the 4-star events, or the 4-star ranking cards have been above, the cutoff has been above 1 million for a while now. Since at least the Rebellion event, I think. But for the past, a lot of events, it's been above 1 million. The 5-star cutoffs are usually about 2.5 million or above, especially for Knights and Mao events. Especially for Ryusei Tide, because it's definitely aiming for above 2.5 million at this point. Maybe even 3 million. But definitely 2.5 million for the cutoff for the 5-star. And expect to have to go for 3 million for the 5-star cutoff, basically. Shoot for 3 million if you're in one of the popular events. Another thing is, if you want to keep track of where you are or where everyone else is, you can follow the NSTARS event border Twitter to check where the cutoffs are currently for the current event. I'll leave a link to that in the description box down below, as well as an annotation right here on the screen right now. And the last thing is, a link to all the guides I used for information are in the description below. A huge thank you to the Twitter users that are popping up on screen right here, for giving me a lot of information for where they tiered for the event and how they did and how many diamonds and spending. That's where I got my estimates. Thank you so much to them. Please follow them on Twitter. They are awesome people who I really appreciate. And that is basically it. I hope it was coherent. I'm really sorry I didn't have more visuals like I did with my tutorial for events. But again, a link in the description will be down below, hopefully, for the outline that I created for this 2-part, for the tutorial and for tiering tutorial for events. A link in the description for the 7-page tutorial that I made down below. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know if it was helpful. Question of the day, was this helpful? And let me know if you have any other questions. Your other job today is to answer any of the questions down below that you know that I may not get to. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, afternoon, and night. And I will see you next time. Good luck in the next event you try to tier for. Bye!